I said it on the broadcast last night. AJ is one of my closest friends. After the first day he went into the hospital, he had hit me up, sent me a text, sent me pictures, all this other stuff. Obviously, for weeks now, I've been holding on to this news and just didn't want to say anything. But it's his personal life, his own. He's going through a lot of stuff right now. It's very serious, but as long as he's healthy and he is able to, I don't care if he ever fights again. I want him to be healthy. That's it.
That's right.
I want to make sure that he lives. And when we're having this conversation, that's how serious this is. Like he said, I'm not afraid of a lot of things. He's like, but this is one of the first times in my life I've been afraid. And it's important. People need to understand that. This is important, that his health is important, not just to him, but to a lot of people that are fans of his and his friends, his family, all of those things. And he's a good person, and it was disturbing for me to have these conversations with him. It was upsetting to me to go through some of the emotions. As I was saying things last night, I realized I started to tear up, and I was like, "Okay, get me off air." Like this situation where I was like, I wanted to get off
because it hits home, man.
Yeah, it does. It hits home because he's younger than me, and I'm thinking to myself, these type of things should not be happening to someone who's young, healthy, just an athlete. You wouldn't think. And it just, so as long as he's coming around, and it seems like he is, and I've talked to him recently, he is fighting, but it's a lot for me to deal with.
First off, the main thing that needs to be said, this fighting means nothing in this.
No.
Okay, and this was not done by something that had to do with fighting. This is Anthony's own personal thing, and we're not going to put out anything as far as what he's going through. But his life is in a position where everything can change for him, all the way to the point where he could lose his life. And this is incredibly serious, and I feel really bad for Anthony. He's a great guy. Health is everything. Yeah. And I say it all the time. Look at one of the most valuable things is time. And people put no value on it. They don't understand how valuable it is because it's something that you can never get back. It doesn't matter how much money you have. You can be the richest person in the world. You cannot buy back time. And so time right now is so important as far as Anthony and just getting himself better, taking all the time he needs to get himself healthy. If he never comes back to fighting again, and his last fight was his first fight in Bellator, so what? Doesn't matter. This is the Bellator light, heavyweight Grand Prix. So what? Yeah. So you're not going to fight for the title against Nemkov. So what? Get yourself healthy. Take care of you. Be in that position where you are good. And if the fighting comes back, great. If it doesn't, so what? You've done everything that you needed to do in this sport. And I only wish you the best, brother. I'm sorry that you're having problems.
Yeah, he's made a lot of money throughout his career. So
sure.
Financially, he's doing okay. That's not the issue. It's just making sure that he's healthy.
Yeah.
That's really what it comes down to. Dave, what else you got?
Next story, Anderson Silva versus Floyd Mayweather is the fight to make, according to his coach, Luis Doria.
I'm sorry. Wait, why? What is it with the big guys picking out small guys? I'm getting to the point, and it's not Anderson. This is his coach, so I don't blame Anderson at all. But this is the Jake Paul route. Yeah. This is, let me be a 215-pound guy, call out the 170. Well, let's be honest. Anderson is a 200 and walk around 210-pound guy, and he's calling out a guy walking around at 150 pounds.
Yeah,
come on, and it's not Anderson doing it; it's his coach doing it. Okay.
Because his coach wants the money. I want to make my percentage.
Well, you saw what Logan made with his thing and stuff. And that's one that I don't think you would see Floyd take.
No, absolutely not.
Floyd would sit there and go, no. He has, first off, too much size and too much skill combined against my size. That's not something that Floyd's going to do.
I don't often agree with Dana White. The fight to make is Jake Paul and Anderson Silva. And if you don't want to make the Jake Paul Anderson Silva fight, then I don't really want to hear it. I don't want to hear it. Jake Paul should be fighting Anderson Silva. Finally somebody in his weight class, finally someone who has
someone of his age?
Someone in his weight class though.
Yeah, at least. And he's not even in his weight class.
But Anderson's probably a little bit bigger.
He's taller.
Yeah, he's taller. I think he's probably weighs a little bit more.
No.
Jake is the smaller of Logan. Logan's the bigger guy.
Jake walks around 215.
Are you sure?
Yeah.
Okay. I thought Logan walked around 215.
No.
I thought Jake was 195.
Logan walks around 225.
Okay.
You're right. He is bigger.
Yeah. Well, look, that's look. As a coach, he just wants to get paid, so I'm not going to pay any attention to that. But and Floyd's not going to take that fight. We saw how Floyd looked against Logan. And
it's over.
Yeah, it's over. It's over, and that's good. I think he needs to walk away and leave it alone.
And it actually that taught Floyd of size is a bitch. I can't deal with a big heavy guy.
Not now that I'm getting older. Yeah. Next.
All right. Joe Benavidez retires from MMA.
Congratulations to Joe. Joe has had an unbelievable career. He never got to the pinnacle that he wanted to achieve in becoming that UFC champion, but everything that he did in his career, he was always very successful. He put on exciting fights. He had some great moments. He did fight for the title multiple times. He was not able to attain that, but you take a look at what he accomplished in his career. You can't ask for having a much better career. He had a fantastic run for a while. He beat the very best guys there was. He beat like Henry Cejudo. He lost to DJ, in a close fight. He got knocked out by DJ in another one. But, there's nothing left for him to prove. No. He's probably not going to be able to fight for the title ever again. And if that title's not there, what's the point?
No, I agree. I think it was a good time for him to check out. And he's someone that he understood the situation. He's like, look, if I can't be champion, I'm out of here.
Yeah.
And I agree. Look, I want to just simply say, Joe, you had a great career. I love watching you fight. And obviously, I'm sad to see you go. But
I'm happy to see you go.
I'm also happy to see you go.
Yeah.
So, another person that retired was Carlos Condit. Another situation where he still had. I feel like Carlos still had a lot left in the tank, but very smart to retire because he was also another guy. He could have fought more, but I don't think he was going to be champion. So what is he doing it for? Yeah. The money? Like, sure, I get it, but when you have someone like himself, right? He was the interim champion. He had fought, he fought GS. He's fought everybody. He's fought GSP.
He fought GSP for the title. He fought Robbie Lawler for the title.
Yeah, so he's been there, done that. Like, when you get to that level, you're just kind of like, okay, what am I still doing if I'm not going to be champion? Why? But he still had those other fights, the Matt Brown fight. He had fights like that still left in the tank. But money wasn't as important to him, I think. Not that money was important to Joe either. But it just comes down to like they realize it's not me anymore, and they stepped away.
I'm going to say that I used to say that everyone talks about MMA guys and they're so mean and stuff. No, they're not.
Yeah,
most of it is an act. But are they good at what they do? Yes. Are they effective at hurting other people? Yes. Carlos Condit was one of those guys, though. When he was young, he was mean.
Yeah,
he was that guy. He was Josh Barnett was another one that I would say, look, he's got a mean streak in him. When he's fighting, he wants to really hurt you. And Carlos came up. No one really knew who he was until he fought in Hawaii, and he fought. I want to say Icon. It was they had a tournament. In fact, I think Anderson Silva was part of the whole thing there. Frank Trigg, I think.
Was it Icon? I thought that was Rumble on the Rock.
Was that Rumble on the Rock? It might have been Rumble on the Rock.
Yeah.
So I definitely could be wrong as far as the name, but they had the tournament.
Yeah. Jake Shields, Anderson Silva, Yushin Okami, Carlos Condit. Yeah.
And that was where
Frank Trigg in it?
I believe he was.
I think he was. Yeah.
And that was where I saw him and I went, dude, that kid can fight.
Yeah.
That kid's good. And then he came to the WEC, and that's when I first refereed him, and I went, oh, shit, this dude's mean. He enjoys this. Yes, he likes dishing out punishment. Yep. He had a whole different mindset than a lot of guys, and he was good. He was good everywhere. He had a very awkward stand-up style as far as the way he would throw things, but he would land. He was effective, and his ground game was way better than people gave him credit for.
Oh, his ground game was phenomenal.
Yeah, he was good. The only guy I ever saw dominate him on the ground was Damian Maia.
Yeah.
And that shit can happen.
Well, Kyle Terra.
Oh.
Because he brought Kyle into training, and it was one of the talk conversations that he said, like, for a guy who's so small, I've never trained with someone who's this good.
Yeah.
And just Kyle, he's like all over me. Just couldn't get him off. Yeah. So Kyle lives in the Bay Area here. So I'd like to give Kyle a little bit of his credit.
There you go.
Yeah. What else, Dave?
All right, last piece of news is around Dan Hooker, and he has a fight on this upcoming UFC 266 card. However, he was facing visa issues. Put something out on Twitter, got a response, and now it's looking good for him. He said, if all goes well, I get my passport, I can jump back in. But he leaves Thursday from New Zealand, arrives in Vegas Thursday night, weighs in on Friday and fights Saturday. So I imagine he from New Zealand, they're about 16, 20 hours ahead. He flies across Pacific. By the time the sun gets to Vegas, he's at the same time landing. So quite a hefty.
Not an easy thing to deal with because you do gain fucking water weight from long flights and having problems.
And he cuts a lot of weight.
Yes, he does. He's big and tall. All I can say, it's a hard situation for him. He's got a lot to deal with. It's not an easy situation for his opponent either.
Hey, am I fighting? Am I not?
Yeah, exactly. And then the UFC themselves, are they going to have someone on standby if he doesn't make it on the visa?
Yeah. The other thing as well is, look, right now with what's going on internationally as well as domestically, all the flights are being canceled left and right. And then not only are they canceled, they're delayed, all these other things. So he's saying he's going to take off and land that night. He may not land till the next day.
Yeah.
And what happens if you come the next day and you got to make weight and you're not able to make weight because you're retaining water from the flight? So he's going to have a hard time. But
it's a rough one.
He's a dog. Hopefully he gets it done. Hopefully everything works out for him. I love watching him fight, man. So hopefully it all works out.
Yeah.
100% agree.